my friends. Today in my 200 3D CAD models in FreeCAD series, I will be working on exercise 141. Now this is a very interesting object, and I think we will need to have multiple sketches, at least 3 stage construction for this model. I say that because of the way I think I'll be building this. So these repetitive portions, I will be building them through draft workbench. So I'll be using the polar array for that. But if you'll notice this middle circular area, this circular color, this tube is not at the same height as the edges. So we will have to do 2 different operation on that one. And then there is a circular head base. So well, let's see where it takes us. First of all, I want to place the center of the workspace at the center of this image, and then I want to take the axis close away and start sketching on XY plane. On here, how about I build that circular base pad first? So first sketch is actually very simple. Take this circle and make a diameter of 60. Actually it will be 80, so we will go all the way to the outside. And the first one, actually I think that's it, and I'm gonna go ahead and rename that as sketch circular pad and extrude that for, I think this is 10 millimeter, so let's keep it 10 millimeter. Now I want to make that symmetric by the axis. That way I can keep track of the 2 other parts that I'll be building. And then I want to work on this circular edges part, which is actually a tube. So we can go ahead and build a tube with outside radius of 40 and inside radius of 30. And the height wise, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is 20. Okay, so that's 20 height. All right, so that will, now this is staying. Okay, this is the base pad, and this tube is staying 5 millimeter above that, but we want to have that tube, I think it should match with the pad, so it will go down 5 millimeter. On the placement tab, come to the Z and say -5. So now we have both of them finishing at the same time. So we could actually use the revolved to build this, but I think this is fine. This repetitive portion, we will have to have 2 different bodies. The first one is this hexagonal part with a circular hole inside. Let's go ahead and draw that in one of the sketch. So it will be one hexagon, and then I'll draw a circle in the middle. So this point will be 80 millimeter away from the center. We got that. And the inside diameter of this hole is 26. So this is going to be 26. And finally, this one of these edges will be 19.3, and then that will be vertical. Okay, by the way, I am drawing this in FreeCAD 0.22 developers version. So you see some of the sketching options are different, so which is great. I'm enjoying it. If you are at 0.21, nothing changes on that. All the commands are there, but the outlook is a little different. All right, so we have that hexagonal part, right? And I want to extrude that for 20 millimeter, and this one will be symmetric by the axis as well. So this one kind of like go down just a little bit, like you see here. And then what I want to do is I want to build this trapezoidal sort of thing. So that is going to be another sketch on XY plane. And on this one, I'll have to build this whole thing. Let's take a polyline and draw the outline real quick. If you will notice, I drew these lines kind of like inside there. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide this and see what it is now. This will be vertical, but I want to actually keep this past this circular area, right? So this distance between the center is going to be at least 34. Okay, and then this is going to be 80. So we got that, and then length of this is 60, and finally this angle between these two, so we can do that. Select these two lines and come with the angle, says 20.6 times 2. Right, what else? I think we can make these two symmetric by the axis and hit S on the keyboard. That's the keyboard shortcut. And we make these two symmetric by the axis. Right, so that is our trapezoid. I want to extrude that for 10 millimeter, but symmetric by the axis. Now what we have is this trapezoid going through this circular hole that we wanted to keep it free, and it does not look good now. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to take these two parts and make a connect. Okay, what if so let's go ahead and make the connect. And then we see that there is a hole on this edge, and we can do that. So we can draw a sketch on there and then make the hole, or just we can just place a cylinder in there and then cut it out. So that hole would be 12 millimeter in diameter. So let's take a cylinder and say radius is 6 millimeter, and then height 10 should be fine, and I want to transform that. So kind of lay it down just like that and move it out so it crosses the wall. Right, the Z direction wise looks good, and hit OK. I think we are good. Now what I want to do, I want to take this part and then take this part out of it. So that is our repeating unit. We have our repeating unit. I'm going to go ahead and rename that, and then take the polar array. Now this is my custom toolbar on the global toolbar side. If you don't have it built yet, first of all, it is really helpful. Build it, and then if not, you can go to draft workbench and then find the polar array under array tools and select the polar array. From here we see that we will have to build 8 of them. So hit 8 and then reset the point and hit OK. Because we had this center as our workspace center, this polar array building is really easy. So if you have in your mind that you will be arraying something, keep that center in your mind when you start working, especially if it is on draft polar array or like per design polar array. If it is in a lattice 2 workbench, we can actually manipulate a little bit more if we need it. But for draft, it makes it really easy if you hit. Otherwise, you'll have to find this dot, the center, manually, which could be a little challenging from every now and then. But anyway, so we have our option polar array, and sometimes I have seen that this creates an issue if it's not fused. So this is now fused, which is great. Or like if it becomes an issue in further Boolean operations, we can go ahead and make a compound, but we will do it later on if needed. So we have the object now. Now all we have to do is take all these three and then make a fusion. And that object is gone. So maybe we'll have to do that compound first, then take all these three and make a union. So that's what I was saying. Like if the array doesn't help with your Boolean operation, just make a compound. That helps. Just to make sure we have a full solid, we can do a test. And so we have a cylinder, right? We have a sphere, and let's go ahead and place it in a place where it will cut through all three parts that we built and make a cut. So what we have is a clean cut that cut through all the three different pieces that we pieced together, which says that we have a final solid right here. This is the final solid, and that is our final model for 141. No edges need to be filleted or stuff like that. So hopefully you like this process of building this model in FreeCAD 0.22. If you have any question or comment, please let them know below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.